Hello and welcome to Super Great Kids Stories, wise tales from storytellers around the world, which will make you laugh and sometimes cry. Recommended for ages 5 to 105. I'm Kim and I love stories. Hello Super Great Kids, and how are you? I'm very happy because today we have a new theme and a new storyteller. The theme as summer approaches here in the Northern Hemisphere is birds and nature. And the storyteller is Eliza Bidois, the mother of Emmy, who told you the story about Maui slowing the sun. Mother and daughter are both storytellers living in New Zealand, or Aotearoa as they call it. Eliza's story is about komako, the beautiful New Zealand bellbird, which has a magical song. Now, just before we hear from Eliza, I wonder if you can have a little think. The bellbird has a song a bit like bells chiming. If you were telling a story about a bird who lost its song, which bird would you use? Do you know any birds which have a pretty song? Have a think about it while we have a quick word with the grown-ups. Hello, Super Great Kids, I'm back. Which birds did you think of which have a sweet-sounding song? How about the blackbird? The song thrush, that's a bit of a giveaway, the starling, the robin, the goldfinch, the meadowlark, the cuckoo, and of course the beautiful nightingale. They're all singing away at this time of year in the UK. Maybe they're trying to attract a mate, or maybe they're just singing for the joy of singing. Now, it's time to meet our Maori storyteller who lives in New Zealand. Are you sitting comfortably? Am I sitting comfortably? Then let's give a very warm welcome to Eliza Bidois.
Tēnā koutou tamariki mā. Hello from New Zealand, Super Great Kids. My name is Eliza Bidois and I was born in Rotorua, land of geysers and mud pools. I was brought up on stories from my grandmother and my mother. My mother was born in Te Teko in the North Island of New Zealand under a beautiful mountain called Putowaki. But that's another story, tamariki mā. Sit back and enjoy. This is a story about a wee bird who lost her song. We follow her as she wanders through the forest, asking for help from her feathery friends to find it. In the rainforest of Aotearoa, New Zealand, there lives a beautiful bird called the komako, or New Zealand bellbird, and she can sing like magical bells chiming in the dawn. And so it was a very strange morning when komako woke up and she couldn't sing. She hipped and she hopped, and she flipped and she flopped, trying desperately to find her sweet whistle. She would open her beak, and out came a squeak, but no sign of her chiming bells. She fluttered her wings and did multiple swings, but no, she could not find her voice. No, nothing at all, not a trill or a cheep. So poor old komako closed her eyes and went to sleep. She dreamt of the days when her singing flooded the rainforests of New Zealand, and her voice was as gentle as the dawn. The sweetest twitter, a harmony to embrace. You see, the bellbird's song took pride of place. So when she woke, still feeling glum, she decided to get help from her feathered chum. There was Wood Pigeon, so green and so fat, with his pumped-up chest and a feathered cravat. Komako cried out to him above, "Hey, Kereru, can you help me find my song that I love?" The wood pigeon looked up and then down to the ground. He swivelled his head, which turned round and around. He wobbled and tottered, then sat up quite straight. gathered his senses, and said, "It's too late." "Too late for what?" asked Kormako. Right to her feet did the keridu drop, and he rolled on the forest floor. You see, keridu had been gorging on berries, on puriri and tawa and lots of miro, sweet berries from the forest. He was fizzy and whizzy and woozy and boozy. There was no help for Kormako from Pigeon today. So off she hopped. She would be on her way. And there on the branch of a kowhai tree, the prettiest yellow flowers, sat the handsome Tui. Well, now there is a thing about Tui, with feathers that shine bronze, blue and green, and a white tuft on his neck, just like a priest. The highs and the lows, the trills and the flows, it is Tui that leads the musical chorus. Drinkers of nectar with long, strong beaks, they pollinate the forest with berries and seeds. "Kia ora, Tui. I've lost my song. Can you help me find it?" Tui twitched his head from side to side, nibbled on a cricket as he tried to decide. He fiddled with his feathers and plucked at his plumes. He whistled a few verses and belted out a tune. He coughed and he hacked and grunted and wheezed, but yet not an answer that he knew would please. "I'm sorry, Kormako, my cousin, my friend. I have no idea why your song had to end, but here's a thought. Why not go ask the fantails, Pi Waka Waka? They are just over there." So Kormako flew not far from Tui, and there were the fantails having a hui. Now, for those of you who do not know, a hui is a gathering of ideas that go to and fro. The fantails were darting and diving at ease, swooping and soaring on a magical trapeze, for they are the ones that predict future and past. Their words are treasured and meant to last. Kormako stood watching as they flitted above, and finally she asked, "Hey, can you find the song that I love?" Yes, the fantails, they knew just what had gone on. They were there the night that old owl stole her song. The silly old coot was sick of his hoot and wanted to be in the dawn chorus. So he cast out a spell which chimed just like bells and the sound of a megasaurus. But the thing is, Ruru the owl's magic was for night time, not day, and unfortunately for him, it was not going to work out his way. The fantail sent Kormako on her way to find Tani Mahuta, the god of the forest, the undoer of spells. The god of the forest stood tall and proud, his long, strong branches touching the clouds. Little Kormako looked on, her eyes open wide. "Oh, Tani Mahuta, can you help me find my song? Ruru the owl has taken it, and my whole world has gone wrong." The god of the forest looked down on this sweet bird and could not quite believe what he had just heard. "Fancy that old owl casting a spell to steal your sweet song, O little bird bell." So Tani Mahuta let out a cry to the god of wind, Tawhiri Mātea, to blow back Kormako's song. The leaves on his branches quivered and shuddered as the god of wind roared and thundered. There were moans and groans and howls and growls, and finally they found her song. Ruru the owl had coughed it back up, and Tawhiri Mātea had blown it straight on to little Kormako, who now had her sweet song, and she sang and she whistled all day long. And to this very day you can hear the bellbird leading the dawn chorus of birds right beside her cousin the tui. Wood pigeon is still fat and lazy. Fantails are naughty little gossips. And Ruru the owl, well, He just got wise and doesn't cast spells anymore. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Thank you so much, Eliza, for sharing that story. I love the way we hear about all the different types of birds in the forests of New Zealand and how some are more help than others. Fancy Owl being responsible for stealing Bellbird's song. I'm sure our Story Owl would never do a thing like that, would you, Story Owl? I'll take that as a no. Maybe you could send us a picture of Komako with his green body and black wings and tail and red eyes, singing his song once again while Owl sits and hoots his hoots. Send your pictures to Story Owl via our Facebook page, facebook.com/supergreatkidsstories, or via our website, supergreatkidsstories.com. And now, it's time to say hello to some new owlets. Let's start in Toronto in Canada and say hello to two owlets who both have birthdays in May. Hello to 7-year-old Clea and hello to Hugo, who's just turned 4. Clea's favourite story is Cap of Rushes, or The Way Meat Loves Salt, as she knows it. And Hugo's favourite story is The Hairy Toe. And hello to excited new owlets, Beckham, who is 9, and Finley, who is 5. They come from Roy in Utah in the US. Some of their favourite stories are the Baba Yaga stories, The Ghost of the Bloody Finger, and Jack and the Two-Headed Giant. I think you like the scary ones. Very brave. And and hello to 8-year-old Lenny and her dad from Calgary in Canada. They love listening to the podcast in the car, especially on the way to school. They particularly like super great scary stories, especially The Hairy Toe and The Cow Who Ate the Piper. You go for the gory ones too then. And over to Brighton in the UK next to hoot hello to Grace, who is 6. Her favourite stories are The Ghost of the Bloody Finger and The Hairy Toe. And another hello hoot to 6-year-old Alden from Bend in Oregon, who loves the Baba Yaga stories and A Brewery of Eggshells told by the wonderful Kate Corkery. Alden recently turned 6, and one of his birthday requests was to join the Owlets Club and get access to the super great scary stories. I hope you're enjoying them, Alden. My favourite one is Bone Soup. And hello to new owlet Scarlett, who lives in Scranton in Pennsylvania. Scarlett is about to turn 6, and her favourite stories are Anansi stories and Hey Ho. She listens with her little brother Calogero, who just turned 2. And hello to 5-year-old Miles from Evanston in Illinois. His favourite tale is the Danish story Hey Ho, Off I Go, and he's planning on dressing up as a Nancy for Halloween. Ooh, that's good forward planning, Miles. Over to Chicago now to say hello to Owlet Zoe, who is 5, and her brother Bodie, who is 2. Zoe's favourite story is A Drop of Honey. Both owlets are half American and half Australian. How lovely to share 2 cultures. Lucky you. And across to Wenham near Boston in Massachusetts now to say hello to John, who is 7, and Lucy, who is 5. Their favourite stories are the Baba Yaga stories and The Ghost of the Bloody Finger. And let's head south now to Australia to say hello to new owlets Noah and his 17-month-old sister Pia, who live in Melbourne. Noah loves the Anansi stories. Good choice, Noah. You're not alone in your love of Anansi. And a big hello to new owlet Olive from Richmond in Virginia, who recently turned 6. Olive particularly likes the Baba Yaga stories. Her mum sometimes dresses as Baba Yaga and pretends to chase her. Eek! And last but by no means least, hello to 5-year-old Arthur from Bexhill-on-Sea in East Sussex in the UK. Arthur came to the East Anglian Storytelling Festival recently wearing his super great t-shirt, and he told his own story with a little help from his mum. Well done, Arthur. Lovely to meet you. Welcome to everyone who's joined the Owlets Club. Thank you very much for supporting us. More Owlet welcomes next week. And you've been sending in brilliant pictures this week. My 2 Pick of the Week pictures go to 6-year-old Lenora from India, who's been listening to Super Great Kids stories for a year now, and she tells us she wants to be a writer when she grows up. She's drawn a lovely picture of the Japanese story, The Child Gods and the Straw Hats. She's drawn them all standing in a line wearing different coloured clothes and jaunty little hats. Just brilliant. Thank you. And well done to 6-year-old Harriet from Manningtree in the UK for sharing a great drawing of a cheeky-looking Anansi trying to secure lots of different lunches from his friends by tying his threads to their cooking pots. Inspired by the story, Why Anansi Has Long Thin Legs. He missed out on some delicious food, didn't he? Serve him right for being greedy. If you'd like to see all the beautiful Super Great pictures sent in this week, go to facebook.com/Super Great Kids Stories. And thanks very much to all of you who are subscribing to our podcast. We couldn't manage without your support. If you'd like to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on Patreon, we'll say hello to you on the programme. You can hear our stories advert-free. And you'll get 39 bonus stories and at least 22 super great scary stories. For more information, go to our website at supergreatkidsstories.com. Remember to keep telling your stories, singing your songs and sharing them with your friends. Bye for now. This podcast was produced at Wardour Studios in fabulous Fitzrovia in London.